We inhabit a very unequal world, but depending on the country you live in, you may face more inequality than others. In fact, social scientists have long studied which countries are more unequal and which countries provide more equality of living conditions. But most of that research focuses on income inequality, so the distribution of income across households within a given country. More recently, inequality scholars have begun to shift their focus towards wealth. Wealth and income are quite different. Income is a flow of money that households receive on a monthly or annual basis. Wealth is a stock of money that you accumulate in the form of financial assets, such as a savings account or stocks, and real assets, such as a house or a vehicle, and sometimes also debt, such as credit card debt, student debt, and so on. When you put all of that together, you have net worth, a measure of wealth. The question we address in our work is a very simple one, and that is, how high is wealth inequality in different countries? And does our understanding of which countries are more unequal than others change once we look at wealth instead of income? And the answer is yes. What you're looking at is a sample of Western countries for which we have both measures of income inequality and wealth inequality. We have ordered these countries horizontally by their level of wealth inequality, going from lower levels of wealth inequality on the left to higher levels of wealth inequality on the right. And by the way, the measure we use here, in theory, ranges from 0 to 1, with 0 being perfect equality, all households have the same amount of wealth, to 1 household has all the wealth and no one else has any. You will see that some countries are approaching that level of perfect inequality in wealth, but none more so than the United States. The US is the most unequal country in terms of wealth that we observe. Second, we're ordering these countries vertically by their income inequality, going from lower levels of income inequality at the bottom of the graph to higher levels of income inequality at the top. And by the way, income inequality is lower in all countries than wealth inequality. But what you'll see is that the US again stands out with the highest level of inequality, also in terms of income. Yet, once you look beyond the US, you will see that wealth inequality and income inequality do not necessarily coincide. Some countries, like Sweden, Norway, or Germany, that we typically think of as more egalitarian, and rightly so in terms of their income inequality, actually have very high levels of wealth inequality too. Conversely, countries like Greece or Slovakia have average levels of income inequality, but pretty low levels of wealth inequality. So knowing how unequal a country is in terms of income tells you close to nothing about how unequal it is in terms of wealth. Wealth is much more unequally distributed, and it provides us with a new ordering of countries in terms of the level of inequality. Except for the US, that leads the inequality ranking on both dimensions. We're just beginning to understand what drives these different levels of wealth inequality, but it is very clear that countries will have to draw on drastic new policies to address these really drastic levels of wealth inequality.